built out their alliances within Europe.
Okay.
But hey man. But over time, like, we bumped into them. When our game first came out, we had a different publisher, the first series of the game. And when that came to an end, they were a territorial partner with those guys. And basically, when the one publisher, they folded. And we're sitting around going, well, what do we do with our baby? Paradox was there going, well, we really like distributing it on Gamersgate and all that.
How big is your studio that's working on this?
We're 15 guys.
Okay.
Yeah, which is us doubled from basically what worked on the first game.
The 15 of you do everything, or do you outsource anything?
Sound.
Okay.
Sound and sound localization, Paradox handles. Sound, like English recording and music, we work with Paul Rusquet at Studio X Labs. Okay. If people remember the music from Homeworld and Homeworld Cataclysm, that's the man, which I think he won awards for. Good on you, Paul.
Good stuff.
But he's doing our music and all that. So we keep that stuff close to home. Localization is done abroad as need be. And then everything else is all of us 15 guys in the office taking care of business. Yeah.
So when's this coming out?
Coming out at the end of the summer.
All right.
We're down to the last couple of months here.
So are they back home crunching right now as you're here?
Yeah, that's why I'm the only guy here. They kind of... Who here is more important, the lead designer or the producer? And the lead designer. Then the lead designer better stay here, the lead designer said. And I said, yes, fine. I will go sit at the booth. So, they're all working hard. The artists are still putting on the last assets, ship assets. There's a lot of ships in the game. There's a lot of beautiful stuff to look at, and they're still working on that.
Is it just for PC or Mac?
PC. Paradox has been looking at a Mac port, something some people have been asking for. We haven't quite nailed that down yet. There's a lot of different options, technically, to deal with that, but right now Paradox and us at Kerberos, our main focus is getting the PC game done. Once that's done, we can look at our options and demand and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Showing us a look?
Absolutely. So, it's like I've been sitting here all day.
As you have.
So Sword of the Stars 2 is us taking the 4X genre. You're looking at, like I said, not a done build, so things, every once in a while you see a big empty space. It usually means there's something intended to go there that isn't quite in yet. So in this case, the star maps, as you select the map you want to fight on, will display here in 3D, so you can have a look at which your preference is, how you like them, all that. All this stuff down here is depends on the type of player you are. So if you're a guy who likes to play alone against some AIs, wants a quick game for a couple hours, which is a really short game for a 4X game, but we've made it flexible. You pick a small star map, you give yourself lots of bonuses, and off you go. If you and 7 of your buddies rather, for 8 players total, you can set up the big game that you can play for 4 hours at a time every Sunday for 2 months. Whatever you want, months and months. There are guys that have 8 games for running for ages in the first series. Pick your race. In the final game, there'll be lots of avatars to choose from, lots of badges, which is part of the customization. Player colors and ship colors you can fiddle with. Did I get the right? Sorry. Hit the wrong button there. So in we go. So for people familiar with the classic strat games or 4X games, this is the first. 4X being Explore, Expand, Exploit, and Exterminate. This is the first 3 of the 4Xs. So you get in here. One of the things we've done is we have a 3D star map rather than a 2D star map because we want people to be thinking tactically up and down as well as their borders. We set up the shape of the galaxy, where all the stars form and all that, but our Sword of the Stars has a lot of focus on replayability through randomization. So one of the things is every time you start a new game, the types of the stars in a position and the number of planets and the types of planets in those positions will be randomized, right? So my home world here, I've just got my 1 planet. What's nearby here? So planets I have, that guy's got 2, but I don't know much about it. 1, some of them will be useless. Gas giant I can't do anything with. I know they're there. I know they have planets. I don't know much about them. So I start researching in my tech tree. And this is the next part of replayability through randomization is our randomized tech tree. So as somebody who's seen the first game, we'll probably notice that the tech tree is a bit bigger. There's a number of new trees. And it's randomized so that people can't, experienced players don't fall into that optimized path trap.
Right.
So they find that optimal path, and then the game turns into a rush up the tree, which is not what we want. We want people to think on their feet. We want people to never feel like once they fall behind the curve, they're screwed. What we want is we want people to work with what they have, to accomplish what they can, until they get what they want, to turn the tides and try to come out on top.
Sounds good.
So randomized tech tree, you'll always be able to build bigger and better ships with bigger and better guns, but maybe your favorite weapon's not there in a particular game, etc. And you work then with what you've got. And in this case, this is the randomization in action. I see the low level, but I can't see where everything's going yet, because I don't want it given away. If I know that meson beams aren't there and that's where I'm headed, I just won't bother going.
So the game's already randomized that, it's just not showing you the upper levels yet.
Exactly. As I get new technologies, it'll show me the next branches of the tree. So it may be a surprise for me that I've worked hard to get up to the tree and the meson beam I wanted, not there. But I'll work with what is available. Maybe a different heavy beam's there, or maybe I'll just refocus someplace else. So you get in there, you design your ships, same as the first game. Ships are designed in 3 sections. There's the engine, the mission, and the command section, so 3 parts. And people can get in there and start mixing and matching as they see fit. They can fiddle around with the weapons. Normally, as I'm setting these up, I will see where the turrets are on the ship, so I know what weapons I'm putting where. And then, if I want, I can even jump in and have a quick weapons test where there's these targets, and I can let it take some pot shots. See how I like the weapons I've put where, how their configurations are, if I like the coverage of the arcs. And when I'm ready, I save the design. Game starts with some core design, so people don't have to do everything from scratch. We want players to get into the action pretty quick. And when I've done that, those planets I showed, like one there, where was the guy with, well, he's got 2. He's got 2. So I want to know more. So fleets have an area of operation. So in this case, I have 3 fleets set up on my homeworld. I want to go have a look here. I set up a mission. I go in, I pick my fleet that I want to use, each one having a different admiral. Commit to it, and then off I go. So after I've done all my economic stuff, after I've done my researching, my building, and all this sort of thing, I hit end turn. And normally I would then go back and take a look at researches that have completed or etc. But just so we can get to it quick, I'm just going to hit end turn here pretty darn quick. And in a minute he'll pop up again. Empty space means something's coming, but it'll be full of information about what was there. So I can see, you know what, there's a couple planets there that are really awesome for colonizing, at which point, again, right-click, colonize. Later in the game, I've got stuff like patrol. So if I'm worried about my front line and the wars going on there, I don't want to then be stuck with the micromanagement of protecting my backfield or a planet that I'm worried about. So I can set up patrols to then automatically just keep tabs on that area. I can send out missions to invade, to get into battles, because that's the last piece of the puzzle in Sword of the Stars, is that as I expand out this way and the enemy expands out, we're eventually going to bump into one another. And the big thing we put into Sword of the Stars 1 that we're carrying over to Sword of the Stars 2 is we're not the pure turn-based 4X. We are more of the Rome Total War 4X. So when the empire building portion is over, if I bump into somebody, the turn-based portion stops and it lets me resolve it in 3D combat. So what I'll do then is I'll just jump right into the 3D world here. So you can see I'm fighting around my planets within the solar system. Players can get in there really simply to click to select, click to move, click to target. But then for the deep tactical players, you can get in here and you can start to see different levels of information. These green boxes are the armor of my ships. So I'm going to tell him to take some pot shots at me here. And as I get hit, the armor slowly gets eaten away. And this is a big step up from the first game in that once armor's eaten away and shots hit, some of them are critically passing through into the interior, and there's critical hits, so it's killing crew. It's reducing the efficiency of a turret, say, or busting up a reactor. And that's where the player gets to have some real tactical capital ship combat. Because what I want to do at this point is I get control of things like stop hitting on my side, chewing my underside for a while. And you know what? I'm going to climb up a level. Because what we do with combat is carried out over three levels. So there's a time limit on combat of like 4 minutes. We want you to be able to have combat and then get back to your empire and then back into combat. You never want an 8-player game where 2 guys are fighting for 40 minutes and 6 guys are just twiddling their thumbs. So it's 4 minutes, whistle blows, everybody retreats back, you take care of your empire building. If you
didn't kill them off in 4 minutes, then you got to try again next time.
You can repair ships, you can pull important ships out, you can bring in reinforcements, and if you're still there next turn, go for it again. And in that regard, we want to keep everybody focused on a 2D plane, but in that period of time, we want people to have a real 3D, Babylon 5 type of experience. So what we do then is, with the 3 planes, people aren't wandering off all over the place and, making you chase them, but you can get in there and through controlling your ships you can have your 3D formations, you can have your 3D maneuvering, you can roll to protect your underside but keep your heavy weapons to bear. And as you can see, all the critical hits coming through, losing control over it. The efficiency of my ship is reducing, so maybe I'll just bring him back to the roll back my ship. There we go. So that brings it to 4X games. It's a time-honored PC classic. There's always a lot to get into, developing your planets, developing your stations. Sword of the Stars 2, we let you basically grow your planets to, not just build up the population, but at certain points tell them you want them to be more production-based or more economic-based. Stations can grow. There's so much to tell that feels like just the surface, and it really kind of is. But that's the 10-minute overview of
Well, yeah, we appreciate it. Thanks for taking us a look.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks.